We're going to dive into a really fascinating and honestly kind of counterintuitive idea today, the 85% rule. So what if I told you that the secret to achieving way more is to actually pull back just a little?
You know the phrase, right? We hear it constantly from coaches, from bosses, you see it on motivational posters, give 110%. It's basically become our culture's mantra for success, and we buy into it, mostly because we're scared of being seen as lazy. But what if that constant, all-out, maximum effort isn't just inefficient? What if it's the very thing that's stopping you from hitting your true peak? And this leads us to what I call the 110% paradox. It's this major clash between what we've all been taught about hard work and what the world's absolute best performers are actually doing. So the basic assumption seems logical, doesn't it? More effort in, better results out. But here's the thing. Across biology, physics, and especially human performance, it just doesn't work that way. The relationship between how hard you try and the results you get isn't some straight line going up and up. It's more like a curve with a very real tipping point. To really get this, let's look at a champion who seemed to just completely defy the laws of effort.
Let's talk about Usain Bolt for a second. When you watch his record-breaking races in slow motion, you see something, it's almost weird. Everyone else on the track is fighting the air. Every single muscle is just screaming with effort. But Bolt, he almost looks like he's out for a light jog. He's relaxed.
And you can see it right here. On the left, you've got his competitors. They're grimacing, their jaws are clenched, they're at 100% strain. All that does is create tightness, a kind of physical friction that is literally slowing them down. But then on the right, you've got Bolt. His face is relaxed, his jaw is loose. He's operating at something closer to 85% tension, which lets him move without all that internal resistance. And this right here is the key. Bolt's relaxation wasn't a sign that he wasn't trying. No way. It was his secret weapon. He became the fastest man on Earth because he understood that peak performance comes from controlled, relaxed power, not from brute force strain.
So what is actually happening in our bodies and our brains when we push too hard? Let's take a look at the science behind it.
So when you go all out, when you're giving that 100%, you trigger something called sympathetic overdrive. It's basically your body's fight or flight response. Your brain pretty much declares an emergency, and it starts shutting down anything it thinks is non-essential, like creativity and nuanced problem solving, so it can focus on pure survival. It's a primal mechanism that is just terrible for high-level performance.
See, pushing for 100% creates this nasty chain reaction. Anxiety leads to muscle tension, which then leads to cognitive tunnel vision. And the result, almost always, it's mistakes. But at 85%, that's where you find that flow state. And that opens up creativity, which leads to speed. And maybe most important of all, consistency.
The writer Aldous Huxley actually had a name for this. He called it the law of reversed effort. It's this powerful psychological principle. The more you consciously try to force something to happen, the more it slips through your fingers. It's like trying to hold on to water by squeezing your fist even tighter.
I mean, think about it like this. Have you ever tried to force yourself to fall asleep? The more you lay there thinking, I have to sleep now, the wider awake you feel. Sleep only comes when you stop trying, right? When you finally relax and just let go. Well, that exact same principle applies to pretty much any skill you can think of.
Okay, so the theory is cool, the science makes sense, but how do we actually use this in our day-to-day lives, in our work or with our studies?
The key is this number, 85%. And listen, this is not about being lazy. It's about being strategic. It's that sweet spot right between focused effort and total burnout.
Take the actor Hugh Jackman. To play a character like Wolverine for decades, he couldn't possibly go for his absolute max bench press every single day. He'd either burn out or get seriously injured. So instead, he aims for about 85% intensity. And what does that do? It lets him show up every single day, year after year after year. That consistency is so much more powerful than a few short bursts of all-out effort.
So here are 3 really practical ways you can apply this. First up, the stopping point. Try to end your workday with about 15% of your energy still in the tank. This makes starting the next day feel easy, instead of like a huge chore. It's the difference between ending on a high note and just dreading the morning. Second, soft focus. If you're stuck on a problem, don't just stare at it until your eyes burn. Step back, literally relax your gaze. The solution often just pops into your head when you stop hunting for it, like those famous shower thoughts. And finally, number 3, accept imperfection.
Aiming for a solid 85% good enough reduces the stress that causes silly mistakes. And paradoxically, you often end up producing even higher quality work because you're not paralyzed by perfectionism.
Okay, let's bring this all together, because this really isn't just some small tweak. It's a complete shift in how we think about what it means to achieve something.
You know, this whole hustle culture has sold us a myth, and it's a myth that leads directly to burnout and worse results. The real goal isn't some one-time heroic effort. It's about building systems in your life for sustainable excellence. It's about playing the long game, not just trying to win one single sprint.
So the final question is really for you. Think about it. Whether it's in your job, your creative projects, maybe even in your relationships. Where are you straining at 100% when a relaxed, consistent 85% could actually get you there faster?